Welcome to this Plain Talk presentation. The focus of this presentation is a threshold question that owners of many successful businesses sooner or later face. Should the business be sold or should it be transitioned to the next generation? For family-dominated businesses, which make up about 80% of U.S. enterprises, this question becomes the name of the game as the parents move into their twilight years. And many owners of non-family enterprises must tackle the question as they struggle with estate planning challenges and the need to protect their families. A recent survey confirmed that more than 80% of senior business owners would prefer to transition their ownership interest to the next generation, but less than 30% of them have given the matter enough serious thought to develop a transition plan. The result is that many businesses end up getting transitioned to a future generation, but at a dear cost. Best estimates are that less than 30% of such businesses survive a second generation, and their survival rate is even uglier, about 15%, for those businesses that make it to Generation 3. Often this threshold question is complicated by another reality. Although many business owners enjoy a net worth that rivals or exceeds that of other well-heeled individuals, the planning dynamics usually are much different when a business takes center stage. For many families, wealth transition planning focuses on a potpourri of investment in business assets, packaged in a medley of partnerships, trusts, limited liability companies, and corporate entities. The challenge is to analyze, reposition where necessary, and ultimately transition the various marbles in the most efficient manner possible, consistent with the family objectives of the owners. With a business, it's usually not about rearranging marbles. It's about trying to move a mountain. In the recent survey previously mentioned, a startling 93% of the senior business owners acknowledged that the business is their primary source of income and security. With little or no diversification, everything gets tougher. Strategies that easily accommodate marble shifting often become challenging, impossible burdens when applied to the sliver of a mountain. And more often than not, the process is further complicated by emotional ties to the mountain and historical perceptions regarding essential bonds between family members and the mountain. This presentation focuses on 4 dimensions of this threshold keep versus sell question. It first reviews 8 mistakes that business owners often make in dealing with or failing to deal with the issue. It then discusses 7 key business indicators that often should be analyzed in determining whether a particular business is a good candidate for surviving another generation. This discussion then turns to 4 look-back planning blunders, 4 situations where a business owner at the time of the sale of the transition proclaims, "I sure as hell wish someone would have told me that 5 or 10 years ago." Truth is, a huge value of carefully focusing on the keep versus sell decision is that smart planning opportunities often are spotted and implemented in time to make everything work better. This portion of the presentation discusses 4 of the big ones. The presentation wraps up by offering a few observations that might be helpful in that all too common scenario where the parents who own and control the business honestly determine that keeping the business in the family is probably not the best course of action, but they're going to do it anyway. What this presentation does not do is discuss specific transition strategies that come into play once the decision has been made to keep the business and the sell option is off the table. Those strategies are discussed in a separate Plain Talk presentation entitled Transitioning Your Business to the Next Generation. This presentation has only one purpose: to help educate those who want and need more information. At the end of some of the questions, you may want to pause the presentation, take a breather while you think about a specific point before moving forward. And you may want to go through the presentation in more than one sitting. The idea is to take it at your own pace. To help illustrate various points discussed in the presentation, along the way we're going to review the planning challenges of Wilson Incorporated, a privately owned C corporation that has been in a specialized distribution business for 26 years. Earl Wilson, who's 65 years of age, is the founder and president of the company and has been the principal driving force behind the company. Earl and his wife Betty, she's 60 years old, own 85% of the outstanding common stock of the company. Betty serves on the board but spends no serious time in the business. The remaining 15% of the stock is owned by Peter North. Peter's 43. He's the chief operating officer of the company, but he's not part of the Wilson family. Jeff Wilson, Earl and Betty's oldest child, is married and has been actively involved in the business for years. Technically, Jeff is considered the second in command behind Earl. In addition to his strong financial background, Jeff has a proven knack for sales and marketing. The company's growth was dynamic in the early years, but recently the growth has been modest. Earl and Betty have two other children, Kathy and Paul. Both of them are grown and married, but neither of them work in the business. Paul is a dentist. Kathy works in commercial real estate. Earl estimates that the business is worth between $12 and $14 million. That's the price he believes the business could be sold for today. Earl and Betty have about $6 million in other assets, bringing their total estate value, inclusive of their share of the business, to approximately $18 to $20 million. They have various personal hobbies and interests that they've neglected in the past in order to accommodate the demands of the business. They're anxious to move forward. They're looking forward to retirement. They are staring squarely at the keep versus sale question. You'll learn more about the Wilsons and their business as we go through the presentation. So let's get started by focusing on 8 mistakes many make in dealing with the big question. The first 5 mistakes push in favor of a keep decision. The last 3 often trigger a sale.